allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this public meeting has been delivered to the Star Ledger and Home News Tribune newspapers and posted on the Middlesex County website as well as the community bulletin board of the Middlesex County Administration Building at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting. Madam Secretary, do we have roll call?
Director. Commissioner Director Ronald Rios.
Here.
Commissioner Charles Kennedy.
Here.
Jason Friedman.
Here.
Ronald Sedner.
Here.
Lamont Patel.
Here.
Michael Kolbowski.
Here.
Stephanie Kim Chauhan. Here. Dr. Sharuk Javinda.
Here.
Saket Chadalala.
Here.
Alternate Joseph Johnson.
Here.
Alternate Gail Lala. Here. Mr. Chairman, the alternates are eligible to vote today, and you have a quorum.
Thank you. At this point, the meeting is open for discussion on agenda items only. So the public, meeting is open to the public for items listed on the agenda only. Any member of the public wishing to speak, please approach the podium, state your name, address, and you do have 5 minutes.
Motion to close the public portion. Second.
Move to the second to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is meeting minutes from February 11th. The minutes are in your packet. There's no question on the minutes. A motion's in order.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from February 11th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence? None. Planning Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners, Planning Board members. I have a short presentation for you on the New Jersey State Development and Redevelopment Plan cross-acceptance process. A handout is included in your packets. The first slide I have is just a cover page of the State Development and Redevelopment Plan. This plan was approved by the State Planning Commission on December 4th as a draft and shared with the counties. What's included in the plan are two elements. There's a plan document and then a plan map that they're seeking input from the municipalities and the counties on. Just very high level, there are 10 goals included in the plan, and under each of the goals, they have a number of priorities. I won't go into too much detail today, that we'll keep that for the next planning board meeting. But on your screen, you can see, on the big screens, you can see the goals: economic development, housing, infrastructure, revitalization and recentering of the urban cores, climate change, natural and water resources, pollution and environmental cleanup, equity, and then there's a comprehensive planning goal included in the plan. The State Planning Commission and the Office of Planning Advocacy are seeking input from the municipalities on these goals, whether the municipal plans and the county plans align with these goals or not. If there are any objections from the municipal level or the county level, then they want to know through this process. What's also included in the plan is a policy map which designates growth areas, metropolitan areas, other urban areas or preserved lands, agricultural lands and such. The second piece of seeking input from these municipalities and counties is to get input from them about whether sections of their municipalities have been adequately shown on the map, and if there are any objections to that, they want to hear from the constituents. Now, what is the acceptance process? It is a process of comparing the statewide planning policies at all government levels. So that includes the municipal level, the county, state plan, comparing all of them for purpose of attaining a high level of consistency among those plans and with the state plan. It's an opportunity for the various jurisdictions to come together and feed into the ultimate state plan, which will be approved at the end of the year. And from a timeline perspective, we're looking at an initial public information meeting on March 24th here in this meeting room at the county. That meeting is facilitated by the county but is hosted by the State Office of Planning Advocacy. Following that, we will have a public meeting, which is the regularly scheduled and noticed planning board meeting on May 13th, where we will update the planning board about where we stand in the process. Then on May 30th, we will be submitting the draft cross-acceptance response template report, which is, they call it the CART report, that will go back to the state. That is a compilation of all the feedback that we received from the municipalities. Following that, we will again meet on the June 10th planning board meeting. We'll present the final report to this board and seek approval, any final public input, and review and approval of the final report before it is submitted to the state. So that's a very tight schedule, but that's the process outlined by the state at this point, and we're going to try to stick to that. That's all I have for my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the cross-acceptance plan for the planning director?
What was the acronym card again?
It's the cross-acceptance report template.
Report template, okay, yeah. Let me get them.
Any other questions for the planning director? One question. Do we anticipate any feedback from local municipalities in the county, or are we in?
So we've reached out to all of the municipalities within the county, asking them to assign 2 to 5 individuals on the cross-acceptance committees. That will be their respective municipal cross-acceptance committee members. That will be the committee that we reach out to and assist in helping, assist them in filling out the response templates and making any amendments to the map. All of that feedback is going to come back to us. We have a consultant on board to help us putting that report together. Our hope is that as many as possible municipalities will engage in this process.
Very good. So there is a vehicle in place for the municipalities to actively participate in this, and
That's correct.
feedback will be directed to that. Any other questions for the planning director? If not, a motion is ordered to accept his report.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the planning director's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business, we have none. Action items, none. Development Review Committee report.
Good afternoon. My name is Katie Pinello from the Office of Planning. I'm going to briefly go over for you the February 2025 DRC report, which should be on page 21 of your packet if you wanted to follow along. First, starting with Table 1, applications on the monthly agenda shows that there were a total of 22 applications in February, 1 minor subdivision, 1 final subdivision, 12 site plans, and 8 extensions. For reference, in February 2024, there were 25 applications on the agenda, so fairly similar to this year. For Table 2, development activity for approved or conditionally approved applications, there were 3 new non-residential lots approved in Metuchen as part of a proposed Wawa development, as well as 2 new residential lots in Middlesex. As part of the site plan applications, there were combined 458 residential units, 72,000 square feet of commercial space, 74,300 square feet of industrial space, 24,000 of mixed-use commercial, and 7 mixed-use residential units. Moving along to Table 3, highlights of development in February. The first application is known as Kersner, located along South Main Street in Cranberry, which is a county road, and it proposed 72,000 square feet of office space. As part of that conditional approval, sidewalks, among other public improvements, were required along the South Main Street frontage. The second application is for Milla, phases 2 and 3, which is the continuation of a large redevelopment project on Route 18 in East Brunswick. And there were a total of 458 townhomes and multifamily apartments as part of that application. And then finally, PSE&G substation in South Plainfield proposed a new utility substation on South Clinton Avenue, which is a county road. And sidewalks and other public improvements were also required of the applicant as part of that conditional approval. And then finally, Table 4, you can see site plan applications. The staff processed 3 exempt site plans in February, including a multifamily residential building with 14 units in Perth Amboy, a fast food restaurant in Woodbridge, and a 2-story mixed-use building on Route 27 in Edison, with ground floor retail and 2 residential units above. That concludes my report. Does anyone have any questions?
Questions on the Development Review Committee report?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Motion is order to accept the report by supervising planner.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have no other staff reports at this time, and no other correspondence. Our next meeting is April 8th. That brings us to public comments. This time, we're looking for comments from the public. Any member of the public, please approach the podium, state your name, address, and you do have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, Board. Charlie Cradaville from New Brunswick, editor of New Brunswick Today, community news outlet, serving Central Jersey. I wanted to ask about the process for selecting a permanent planning director. The new person is interim, correct?
Sorry, say that again?
The new director is an interim director. Is there a timeline or a process in place to either make him permanent or find a permanent person?
I'll turn it over to the county commissioners and our attorney if there's an official process or.
I'm sure there's a process, but I'm not involved in it, so I don't know the answers. It's being worked on.
Okay, any timeline or any details you can share?
I can't give you a timeline, Charlie, because you could ask people and then they don't take the job, so we're working on it since we've known that Linda was leaving.
Okay, is it being advertised?
That I don't know.
Okay. I really appreciated the presentation on the state development plan and redevelopment. I wanted to ask the new director if he had anything to share, through you, Mr. Chair, about his priorities, during his time in the role. Are there any specific goals he has, or what does he hope to accomplish as the interim director?
Yeah, well, of course, appreciate your interest in turn over to the planning director for his comments, knowing that he's very new to this role. Mr. Planning Director, any response?
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Charlie, for that question. My goal or objective during my time in this position is to, one, keep business going as best as we can in the absence of a permanent person in this role. And as far as the state plan cross-acceptance process is concerned, and I know your question started from there, our objective is to get this done as quickly as possible because of this, very tight timeline put forth by the state. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to keep going business as usual.
Thank you.
Let me say briefly, because he's a little modest, he's been with the county for a while, and he's pretty well qualified to serve in the interim role. He's extremely knowledgeable, he's been intimately involved in a lot of county planning activities for a while, so it's not like we gave the keys of the car to a guy off the street.
Certainly did not think think that was the case, and it's reassuring to hear that. Any roundtables scheduled? Transportation-related roundtables?
I can take that question.
Please.
Chairman. So we do not have any roundtables scheduled. However, there's a public meeting on the state plan, like I said, on March 24th at 6 p.m. in this committee room. And then there will be public meetings about the road safety audits project that we are currently going through. There are 5 corridors. We've been conducting road safety audits, so there will be public meetings associated with that.
Great, I'll look forward to learning about those. How about the transportation symposium? Is there a date or location for that?
I believe there is.
Yes, March 19th at the NB PAC.
Great, great. And I did see an announcement go out about some coordinate efforts around safety on Route 1. And yeah, I'd just like to hear a little bit about that. I obviously have been bringing that issue up repeatedly here. Is there anybody who could share about, the plan for that?
An announcement regarding coordinating safety on Route 1?
Yeah,
Not
I
familiar.
think the county issued a press release, I received it, I got one from the prosecutor's office as well, so I'm sure somebody knows.
The county prosecutor is taking the lead on that, and it's going to be a multi-agency study and team approach to try to, make the roads safer, educate drivers on safe driving. I mean, we've discussed this many times with you, Charlie. There's nothing more important than public safety to us, just like anybody else. And it's just a matter of, executing it, and we can keep educating our residents and our drivers and our pedestrians. But sometimes, unfortunately, accidents happen.
They're going to also gather the data and work off of the data that they gather through this process.
Sounds like a pretty comprehensive approach to that topic.
Yeah, it sounds like it's starting to meet the moment we're in, so I'm glad to hear about that, and glad to hear about future meetings that
Point in order,
are open.
time is up.
public.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Yeah, I'll be there with my camera, and look forward to seeing you all at the symposium.
Thank you very much. Any other member of the public wishing to speak?
Motion to close.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. As we approach adjournment, just would like to recognize the fact that both our alternate Galala and senior engineer Bernal Shaw have suffered losses recently personally, and just want to appreciate everybody's keeping them in your thoughts and mind going forward to the next month. And if there's no other items, we'll move for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good afternoon.